Woo!
I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to be with two of my favorite people in all the world.
Hey, 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 hey.
And it's great to be there with everybody. I know that the Avengers will be there and with us.
Hey.
So it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I really regret that I can't be there with you and all of you in person, but you know how it is these days, with the travel and so forth, but as soon as this thing gets over and gets back to normal, I promise you, and it'll be probably sometime in next year, I promise you that I will be there in person to witness this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shop that you put together. It is absolutely astonishing. And I have to tell you, it's an honor to me. I mean, and I don't take that lightly. I know the wonderful work that Hugo, that you have done. I mean, you are a master of creating these ensemble backdrops to display, the artwork. It's like nowhere else in the world. And I've been to so many wonderful gift shops around the world, and I'll tell you what, there's none better at displaying and really showing the essence of my artwork than your shop, through your efforts, Eugene, and through your beautiful artistry, Hugo. I'll tell you.
Thank you.
I applaud both of you. You guys are great.
Thank you so much. Well, Jim, we are here together with a group of people. Of course, due to the corona restrictions, not as a big group as we would have liked, but the die-hard fans are here for you, and they are really thrilled to see you and hear you again. And some of them you have met when you came over in 2018 and 2019, and some of them will be new, but they are also very thrilled to see you. So, we really would like it to be, of course, a very thrilling afternoon. And for you, it's morning. We know it's very early, but for us, it's already afternoon. And we were just explaining to people that we want to show you still a gift which we owe you. Perhaps, Hugo, you can... I don't know if you remember, but we told you a few years ago that we should never separate the mother from the son. And this is still waiting for you here, as you know.
You asked, do I remember? Listen, the two beautiful plates that you gave us are in front and center in our kitchen, and we have them on display. We talk to our guests about them all the time, and remember our visits to you. And I tell them, that when I see the sun, I say this is a rendition of one of Rembrandt's greats, and I say this is the sun, and I said there's the mother out there, and she's coming home pretty soon.
Well, we are watching over her very carefully, and she will be here whenever you're ready. And of course, we hope that that is going to happen in the future.
Yeah, sooner rather than later, we hope.
Yeah. Over here we have your table. We call it Jim's table. You cannot see it from there, but it's called Jim's table, and that's the table where you signed on when you came to us, and that is also the table where we invite the visitors now to talk to you. And they have some questions. Perhaps you have some things which you want to share with us before we start with the questions. It's totally up to you.
Well, I just want to tell everybody that I'm so grateful for the time that I can spend with you all. This thing of artwork, it's a different industry than anything else. I don't do. I mean, the shop and everything. Of course, we do it to make our living and so forth. But that, to me, that's not what got me started. That's not what inspires me. That's not what keeps me going. What keeps me going is just my passion for the love of what I do, and the knowledge of how it affects those who I share it with. It's a matter a little bit of my heart going out to you all, and I'm really sincere about that. It's a labor of love, and I am constantly thinking while I do my artwork of not of myself or what this will accomplish for me. I think of what it's doing for you all, and because you're the ones I'm working for, and days like today, where we're all together, just means everything to me. This is really the reason I do what I do, and I just can't tell you how much I love you two, and everybody there that shares this time together.
Well, everybody's here for you because they are so grateful for all the work you do and all the things you design and you make for us. So people do want to share that with you, to express you how much they value what you do. And that is also why you are in our hearts. We know we are in your heart, but you are in our hearts of everybody over here, and many, many more who could not come and wished to have come. Shall we start with some questions?
That would be wonderful.
Okay. First is Michelle. You have met Michelle before when you came to visit us, and you talked to her before. And Michelle has a question. She has a storybook, of course, the storybook which you have signed for all of us. We are really happy about that. We are grateful for that you did it for us. And what is your question, Michelle? Yeah, it's better.
My question is, are there more White Woodland princesses coming? Because I love the series.
Well, the princesses now, there are 14 princesses, and they're not all exactly princesses, but they're the female leads in the Disney stories that that are I think emblematic of the strength of these young women and the things they go through and everything. They're wonderful stories because not only are they showcase beauty and beautiful things in a story way, they're based generally on oftentimes ancient stories, folk tales and that sort of thing that have been, translated for us and embellished into these what we call fairy tales. Okay, so there's 14 of these stories, and I have done many of them in different ways. As you know, I have a number of different styles that I do. I do the Heartwood Creek is largely based on kind of a folk art approach, to my art, and then there's the Victorian, and there's the Nordic, and the black and gold, and just different ones, and the White Woodland. Now, the White Woodland came about some time ago when I did a piece, actually for a friend of mine, where I veered away from my typical broad color palette and did something very neutral and very subtle and so forth. And actually, initially, it was not intended on going on the line because it was so different from what I normally do. So, but we put it on like that was a St. Francis, by the way, a large St. Francis as a gift, and it just took over that styling. And you see in that styling, it's not really a challenge. It just, as it happens, it doesn't veer away from my style. It's still recognizable in my, from my style, and because I use the same design elements. And you can mix that in with the other pieces of my collection, and it just fits. It doesn't stick out as being this or that. But as a decor direction, it's easier to use because of the neutrality. But you asked specifically, will the princesses?
That's what we want to know. Are there some more coming?
I'm getting to it. I won't be so long-winded on the next one. Okay. Okay. Here's an example of one of the the print. This is Mulan, and this is in the White Woodland style. If you can see that.
Yeah. Very clear.
All of them eventually will be in this style. In other words, I will use the White Woodland, that styling and go through all of the themes. I've been doing a collection that we call the Elegants that are oversized, and they're really embellished with a lot of jewelry and stuff like that. So that's a direction. But the White Woodland is a direction that I will go in, and then that that will cover, and we'll cover eventually all of them, probably in different ways. Now this is kind of a personality pose, but we'll do it with vignettes and with card by heart and with different things like that, so that story gets told in that particular segment of my style and completely. Okay. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan. Yes, Suus, you have also seen Suus before. You cannot see with pak hem maar af. We have to wear the masks officially here.
Recognize now. You look a lot prettier without the mask.
Suus also has a question for you. Yeah, it's a bit.
Dichtbij?
Yeah.
I'm curious if there will be more beautiful images of Beauty and the Beast, such as the Closet and Sultan, because those characters I still miss in the Beauty and the Beast series.
Okay. Hey, Dominique.
Is the question clear, Jim?
I have the question. Yeah.
I'm curious if there will be more beautiful images of Beauty and the Beast, such as the Closet and Sultan, because those are the characters she's still missing in your range.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's once again. See, that's an ongoing project.
Right.
Yeah. Get some of the drawings and some of the things that I got. Dominique's going to show you some things that I'm doing. So, yeah. Eventually.
Dominique.
Eventually, in the way that I present these pieces, whether it be the card by heart or whether it's the storybook versions, as you can see, I will eventually expand that into all the characters some of the characters that are not as well known or not as well represented as some of the others. I like doing that actually because a lot of the characters, like Jiminy Cricket or Chip and Dale and that kind of thing.
I'll keep looking.
Okay, here's a new piece actually that this is the working drawing, the color work for a new piece that I'm doing. This is actually for a Christmas presentation of Beauty and the Beast. That's an illustration there. But now you ask about the other characters. The other characters will be coming, and I will eventually have them all, and I'll have them sort of before and after too. That's one of the things that I have on my agenda to create. In other words, Belle really before the her time with the Beast. I've done much with the Beast, with the dancing and the castle and everything like that. But I also want to do it more of it after the transition and that sort of thing, so that eventually the entire complete story is told. But in these things, when I start on a project like that, it may sometimes take years for me to complete the entire story, because rather than putting it all out at once, because of the way we fashioned the line and making it something that we can actually control. I put out a few pieces, and then the next go around a few pieces more and a few pieces more until it's totally complete. And I think that makes the collecting a little more interesting too. Because you sort of have to wait on it, you have to look for it, you have to find and that sort of thing. Are you finding something?
It's all Belle. There's no other characters.
Okay, well, there's intentions for the other characters because
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Anyway, in answer to your question, yes, I am on top of that. In fact, I try to do that on every one of them, whether it's Peter Pan or whether it's Lady and the Tramp or whatever the subject is. I try to eventually get everything out there. And and here's the interesting thing. Some of the more obscure characters I've done thinking, well, this is interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to somebody else. And sometimes it'll just take off like nobody's business. When I did the character of Figment, the little dragon character. You know, I thought, well, nobody's going to really want this. We had an avalanche of people wanting this thing. I mean, it's just like a subculture, you know. So I know exactly what you mean. Here's another piece actually that is a Belle piece that is, I think, going to be very, very beautiful. I've started roughing this out. This, of course, this is the drawing, so I don't have the sculpt yet to show you, but that's something that's on the way, and that's sort of as a part of the story.
Secondary characters.
And yeah, here, hand me that. Here's an example of a secondary character. Okay, I think everybody recognizes him.
That's really beautiful.
That's the kind of thing. You know? Okay, so thank you very much for that question. It's something that I try to iterate all the time. You know, that when I start something, that doesn't mean that's the end of it. You know, these collections will be expanded out, and I'll try to do as much as I can, particularly when I get suggestions like you, because that's how I build a line. Because like I said, I'm working for you guys. What you want, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to see you again, too.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. There we are. Danielle is also very happy with the storybook. Everybody's happy with the storybook. So it was a good choice to make a White Woodland version, and it was really good and nice for you to sign them for us.
Would you like to see the original?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
That's the original.
Well, he really resembles.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the original piece. And so what I always try to express the fact that through quality control and through my pickiness and my attention to detail, that the pieces that you end up on the shelf in your hand, in your collection, is as faithful to the absolute original as I can possibly make it. Because I'm on top of this thing from start to finish, and from the time I get the idea until it's in the box and it's on the shelf and it's in your home, I'm connected, you know. So as you can see, I think yours will be it'll be pretty close to the original. So
I remember when you came to visit and you explained us that in the past you also went sometimes to the places where they paint in Asia, and that you really wanted them to do it in the way you thought they should do it. And quite often that means painting, rubbing, painting, another rubbing. I mean, it's not just so easy. And you explained us that it is not easy to paint a piece of Jim Shore. And well, that is also what we always try to explain to the people. Like, look at it carefully, look at it good, because it's just not a simple painted thing, you know. It's taking a long time for people to do the job by hand. And a lot of people forget that so many people are working on your items in a, well, near to perfect way to have them on display at the people at home in the same way as you want them to be. And we know that you are on top of it, and we like it.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Eugene, because it's true. You know, Jan and I, and you know, Jan may come in just a little bit and say hello, but Jan and I taught the painters over there, that is our team of painters, exactly how to paint in our style, which is, our style of painting is called toll painting. It's sort of it's an American style based on our Pennsylvania Dutch style of painting. Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah.
So
must be good.
yeah, indeed. So it's a very Americana kind of painting, you know, and it's not just a single color. It's color with glazing, with dry brushing, and with shading, and with what we call scumbling, which is the opposite of glazing, and that sort of thing. So and that's all done by hand with a brush. It's not where we produce our products is not a factory. It's not something that's pumped out of a machine somewhere. This is all, every single aspect of it is hand done in a studio atmosphere. And that's unusual. but but that's the way I insist on being and maintaining it, and I'm stay on top of every single piece, every single step of the way, and I am very, very, very strict on what I demand. And what I demand is and why am I demanding that? Because if we do, let's say we take the original, we make molds, we make 1,000 pieces. Okay, I look down 1,000 pieces, I pick up piece number 343. Well, 343 is not 343 to you, it's one. That's the only piece that you will get. That's what represents me from beginning to end. That's the only one. So that means that one is as important to me as my original is, That's the way I think, that's the way I operate, and that's why you will see, I think, consistency and value and quality and all the rest of that stuff, because that's what I'm all about.
Well, nice to hear. Now we have the question of Daniela.
Yeah. Is there coming a piece from Lilo alone without Stitch?
It's always Lilo and Stitch,
Yeah.
but hardly ever or never she's on her own. So
Okay.
she would like to know: are you going to make one without Stitch?
Well, we'll take it. Let me start my list. Hold on.
Let me tell you something.
Don't tell us you
We
have
have-
one ready yet.
Okay. All right. The simple answer to your question is no. Usually we focus on Stitch or we focus on Lilo and Stitch together. However, I put together my list of things to do based on what you're requesting. And Dominique, I told Dominique on every time we get together like this to keep a list of what people want. When we have our brainstorming session, which determines how we go forward, then those are the things that I do. So I can promise you right now that I will put a singular personality pose of Lilo on the list, and I will add that to the list. I will start working on it when I work on this next go around. Now keep in mind, it takes a while, okay? From the time I start on something until it actually gets on the shelf. But I will start something, and I will, when I do the initial artwork, I will make sure that Eugene and Hugo have that artwork to show you that it's on its way.
Okay,
And so the next go around, there will be a piece of Lilo by herself doing something interesting. I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that suggestion.
You're welcome.
Dan, we hebben een naamgenoot. Two that is the same name, Danielle as well. Wil jij praten?
Hello, it's the first time we
Hi.
meet, so I have a question for you. Is it possible to make a complete catalog with all your works from the beginning until now, from all your collections, like Hardwood Creek and Disney and...
Wow.
We want
I've
to
been
take a
doing,
catalog.
I've been doing this work for, well, Heartwood Creek is 20 years old. And before Heartwood Creek, I did an awful lot of, folk style artwork and different things that led up to the official Heartwood Creek. But since starting Heartwood Creek, I've got, well, I don't know how many, to tell you the truth. I mean, at our main studio right now, where we are right now, where I am right now, is in the lesser studio that is located adjacent to my lake house here in South Carolina on the East Coast. My main studio is several miles from here, and it's a studio complex. That's where we do all our heavy lifting and everything. Well, there, you can see behind me, we have a collection of things. Well, I've got the same kind of stuff over here, over there, in that room in there. We've got hundreds of pieces right here. At the studio, we've got thousands of pieces. So, I mean, so what you're asking,
Okay, make two different catalogs, one for Hardwood Creek and one for traditions.
well,
Would that help?
that would help. That would, it'd be like an encyclopedia, you know, of
Yeah,
of Jim.
that is what people like to see.
But you know, one thing actually that we have started already is what we call it a coffee table book, because over here in all of our living rooms we have coffee tables, and you have books that are illustrations and picture books and things of interest that, you know, your guests would sit down and look at maybe. So we call it a coffee table book. And coffee table books are usually photographic renditions of something. It could be wildlife, or, you know, scenes, or one thing or another. It could be cars, you know, whatever. And so we were going to do one that would be sort of a running dialogue between myself, my staff here, you know, Dominique and Robin and Crystal, and with Jan, and with about what makes us tick as artists, and also show pictures in lifestyle shots and beauty shots of a wide variety of the pieces that I've done. We've done a number of books. We did a book here. That's a book on quilting that showcases a lot of my artwork and then translates it into quilt patterns. So it's kind of like the circle is completed. But as far as doing just like a catalog, like, okay, here's piece number 1, here's piece number 2, here's piece number 3, which most of those pieces, we still have the original on most of those pieces in the studio. So it could be done, but you're talking about thousands. But I have, of my drawings that I've made, we've archived almost 16,000 drawings.
Incredible.
Those are the beginnings of the ideas that I have for pieces that I have done, or that are in process, or that I want to do. So the work is so doggone extensive. I mean, there's just, and then not only that, but, you know, we have 16 co-brands, and that includes Peanuts, and it includes Crayola, and it includes, you know, Coca-Cola and Country Living, and, you know, a whole lot of different characters that I do, and just like I do with the Disney, or I do with the Grinch and that sort of thing, or, you know, with all of that. So that's extensive. However, we translate, you know, I do a lot of painting too. In fact, you know, people ask me what type of artist I am. For the longest time, I considered myself a painter, because I did portraits, I did murals, I did all that kind of stuff, and that sort of things. I was doing portraits when I was in junior high school. So I've been working, you know, as an artist in one way or another for all of my life. But so I translate a lot of my artwork into paintings, color paintings, finished paintings, and that kind of stuff. And we use those images for fabric, for calendar art, for paper goods, for tabletop, and that sort of thing. And so that's 11 other licenses for the artwork, so that we maximize the use of the artwork, so we get its full potential. So the full scope of everything that I do artistically is absolutely enormous.
Well, perhaps we should make it easier for you. Then we will bring it down to only the catalog on the Disney traditions. No, I mean joking, but the people who collect the Disney traditions, they want to know, do I have everything what he has made since 2005? Because you started traditions in 2005, and they are really eager to know, do I have it all? Is it possible to collect it all? And are there pieces missing? And that's why I think you asked Daniela, is there a catalog? It doesn't need to be a full color photo catalog, but is there a catalog? Or could there be a catalog in the future? And we heard this question over and over again, and we discussed it with UNESCO England 2 years ago when Hugo and I visited UNESCO, and we asked that question, and now the question comes back and back and back, and we know you have made a lot, but perhaps we can make it easier for you. Perhaps we can say only traditions to begin with. Because that's what you like, huh?
You know, that really is a good idea, and in answer to that, it is very doable. I mean, all of that is on record, okay? And we have photo examples of everything that I've ever done with Disney traditions. And you know what might be interesting in addition to that, we could probably go back and do this maybe either theme or in addition to, like, let's say I would do the Disney traditions, and maybe the Disney traditions. Maybe I could do a core Disney traditions, a Disney traditions concerning a particular, like the princesses, a Disney traditions concerning, Nightmare Before Christmas, or what have you. There's different elements of the Disney properties, breaking it up like that. And then, but then I have, like if I did my Nordic collection or my White Woodland collection as a separate thing, it could be a series of volumes of books that would eventually cover and explain everything I had. That way I could get more precise with explanations of what inspired this or what inspired that, and make it a little bit more interesting than just, here's a picture, here's a thing, here's a picture, here's a thing, Yeah. So that is honestly, that's a great suggestion. We're into books right now anyway. I've done the Button and Squeaky books, and I've done the some of the coloring books and the journals, and I showed you the quilt book we just got finished with, and we're working on another quilting book, using the artwork. And I also finished my version of our poem, The Night Before Christmas. And if you're familiar with that poem, it was done in 1822, and over here anyway, it's become like an iconic poem. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And it goes on from that. Well, I've got a whole book based on that poem, and that'll be coming out next year too. So, and we have an excellent publisher, so we're all set with that. So all it is a matter of compiling the information, putting it in form, and then publishing it and shipping it out to you all.
Surprises with this beautiful book, and we will be ever so grateful forever.
That would be awesome. It's on the list. It's on the list.
Okay, thank you, Danielle, for your question.
Thank you, Danielle.
Sorry, the boss wants to say something to you. The boss is Angelique.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
I'm very nervous.
Are you? Well, don't.
I'm always nervous.
What I see you.
Don't be.
I'm, I don't know if you know me, but I'm Angelique from Disney Avengers.
Wonderful. I love you guys. I met a lot of you, the last time I was there, and I thought, man, that is so great. And it's so awesome to have a group that just focuses on that subject, and and allows me to be a little bit of a part of that endeavor. Thank you so very much.
I want to show the faces behind the team, because we have Joran, who's over here. I love him.
Hi there.
Hi.
And here we have Sally. Here is Sally.
Hi.
And we have Mike. But we have a surprise for the men, because they are 1 year at Swolgen. We have a surprise for you, Hugo and Eugene.
Look at this. Oh,
Congratulations from everyone.
this was a surprise for them, but it wasn't a surprise for me.
Congratulations. Thank you, Jim and Dominique.
Thank you.
Thank you very
all.
much. But it's only allowed now to have to take a piece. So where is the knife? You have to, both of you, with man and man.
It's a pity you cannot taste it, because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Can you see it?
Put a piece in the fridge and I'll eat
out.
it. Come over.
We want cake.
Ta-da. Well, unfortunately, we cannot save it for you, but otherwise we would have done.
So after the live, everyone takes a piece. So you both, the man and man,
Well,
together.
congratulations on your first year there at Swolgen. And
One, two,
One, two.
two, yay! Iedereen applaus! Yay. Thank you very much, Jim and Dominique.
thank you.
The one with the next question, please.
Oh, before we get to the next question, I want to say something. While we are celebrating the 1 year at the new location there, I think it's absolutely wonderful because it is an absolutely over-the-top beautiful place. I also want to bring up the fact that we know that next year is Haddon Hall's 30th anniversary, okay? And I want to also tell you that we are creating a special piece that will be a wonderful piece for you guys to celebrate. I know what your favorite is, and that's what it's going to be. So it's going to be a surprise for you. But I'll tell you, it's going to be a wonderful piece, and it'll be a one-of-a-kind piece for Haddon Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, next question. I don't talk so much because I'm totally freaking out. But because Eugene is busy with the cake, so I will try to do my best. Oh, she is Dunya. She's a very lovely lady, and she has a question for you.
Yes. I'm a big Disney fan, but I also love Scooby-Doo. And there is not so much from Scooby-Doo. You make a big one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Scooby-Doo is one of my favorites too. You might like this piece here.
Yes, I have them all.
Where's the
Mystery Machine?
Yeah, the Mystery Machine. I don't know whether you've seen the Mystery Machine that I created.
Yes, I have them all from Scooby-Doo.
But yes, Scooby-Doo, that's been a favorite comic character here for ever since I was a kid. So it's been a while,
Yeah.
But when I was asked to do that collection, I thought, man, this is great. Sometimes when I get asked to do, do you have this piece?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess you got this piece too.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yes, we love this subject, and it's something that it's something that's ongoing, that we will flesh it out more and more and more as time goes on, because that is part of one of the ones that'll be one of our continuing subjects. It's so interesting. The characters are so interesting, and there's just an endless, number of scenes and of situations that they're in that are so interesting. This carved by heart piece, I did that early on. Now, usually when I do a carved by heart piece or a storybook piece, I will wait for a number of years until I've accumulated a lot of the personality poses and the different things like that, put it together. But on this particular subject, I thought, well, I think it's important to set the tone at the beginning of the project by actually introducing all the characters together in a venue like this, So it's a piece that it's another one of those pieces that's a very complex piece. I mean, it's fun, it's whimsical, and all that. But each one of these pieces, that's a project all by itself, And what I try to do when I do a co-brand like that, particularly characters like that are so well defined and so well understood, is to be absolutely as faithful as possible to the characteristic of the character, so that a person would look at that and first say, oh yeah, that's Scooby-Doo and the gang. They wouldn't say, oh, that's another Jim Shore piece. They can look at it, and when they discern the way I've constructed it, the kind of detailing I've used, then they can say, oh yeah, that's a Jim Shore piece. But I want them first and foremost to see that, the essence of the character, of the scene, of the whatever it is, That's the approach I take. Same way here, when I did this, I wanted them to say, okay, I know that piece, I know that thing, I know those people, I know all of that, there's Scooby-Doo, and that's what I want it to be. So that's the approach I take. But in kind of in answer to your question, yeah, that's an ongoing thing. There will be more and more, and there will be big ones too, because every time I get into one, yeah, okay, there's the answer. You know, every time I get into one of these subjects, I always invariably will add in some of the oversized pieces, the big pieces. And I've got some pieces to show you. I know that some of these pieces, it's like this character here. See, there you go.
Yeah, it's very wonderful too.
That's the kind of approach that I've got, and I've got Mickey's, and I've just got, you know, and here's a piece. You ever seen that one?
Oh.
Huh? You ought to be adding that to your collection, you know. So anyway, I do like doing the oversized pieces, and there will be character, particularly of Scooby-Doo himself, and then, you know, of the other characters in oversized form like this, you know, because I like that, you know. And I'll tell you what, every time I do a big piece like this, one of the things we do is we coat them with a UV inhibitor so that you can use them anywhere in any kind of setting, and you don't have to worry about color fading or that kind of stuff forever. So
Nice.
we do our best. But yeah, that's in the works.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Then we have another question from
Hi there.
Viviana. She thinks she was a bit nervous to ask you, so I'm going to ask the question for her
Okay.
to you. Viviana wants to know, because she's a big collector of the storybooks, is it possible to reintroduce the Winnie the Pooh storybook? Because she says, but a lot of collectors would really like to see that piece back. So the Winnie the Pooh storybook.
You know, here's the thing. We've been asked many times to reintroduce a lot of pieces, and I thought that would be a great idea. For one thing, there's a reason for that. For one thing, oftentimes when we are putting the line together, we keep it, as I mentioned earlier, in a manageable level. In other words, if we had everything, you know, if we had 10,000 pieces out there, it'd be absolutely nuts, you know. So as I create pieces, then we have to, through retirement or through attrition, eliminate basically the same number of pieces. So we at a manageable level. And consequently, a lot of the pieces don't get their full potential, you know, to satisfy everybody out there that might want one. And that happens a lot. And so consequently, people will say, oh, I wanted this piece, but it's no longer available, and I want it, and please bring it back, and all that kind of stuff. And there's a very, very, very strong secondary market that is beginning to, you know, emerge with some of these older pieces. And that is what has created it's kind of a problem in our desire to bring some pieces back, because the collectors who go to the secondary market and buy these pieces on the secondary market, they're more valuable. They're valuable. Okay, and we don't want to minimize the value of those things by bringing the identical piece back. But on a subject like that, you know, if I were to bring a piece, it would be a new piece showing the Winnie the Pooh characters or so forth. In fact, hey, Dominique, get that new
Dominique, come on.
Okay. So anyway, that I'll show you a piece that we are currently working on that is a Winnie the Pooh piece, if she can find the drawing fast enough. Have you got it?
Just keep talking. I can find it.
Okay, but anyway, that's the reason that, because we started doing that, we got a lot of pushback from collectors because they didn't want us to bring something on. We could conceivably bring something on as like a second edition or something with changes or whatever.
Uh-oh. You sure?
Now here's
That's amazing.
The collectors who have the first piece, they are always afraid that the value goes down of their item, which we understand in a way. but perhaps there is a possibility to reintroduce such a thing as a storybook in this case, and alter something so we don't disappoint the collectors who have an antique one. I mean antique in the sense of a 10 years old piece, and we still can make the people happy who want to buy the new altered piece.
Okay, I'm going to show you a drawing.
Don't tell anyone.
A color work that I'm not supposed to show yet. Okay.
That is what we like the most. What you're not supposed to do.
This is going to be our secret. Okay.
Sorry, Gerald.
Now this isn't a storybook. This is a card by heart piece, but I think it'll show you what I have in mind as far as bringing out the scene of the different characters from Winnie the Pooh. So.
Yeah. So you are meaning to say this is another version of the carved by heart, only a newer design. So
yes, that's a brand new design that will be shown at the shows in January.
January 2022. It says.
So that's a brand new piece. That piece is finished. It's finished and it's ready to go. We have the samples of that for the January shows in next year. So that'll be available to the retailers and everything. So it'll be a piece coming next year. Specifically as a storybook piece, I can put that on the list too, because doing those vignettes, particularly a subject as popular as Winnie the Pooh, is something that I love to keep going and everything. So Dominique.
Yes.
Hand me that piece up there.
We love Dominique.
No one has seen this either.
Okay.
No one's seen that.
I'll show you another piece that no one's seen. That it's not Winnie the Pooh, but it gives you an idea of how I will go forward with this stuff. This is a brand new piece, and that is
also very nice.
That's the Peter Rabbit collection from Beatrix Potter. So all of those pieces like that are in the works and in the offing. It's just a matter of me sitting down and saying, okay. Because this stuff, honest to goodness, I work all the time, but I only have 24 hours a day, and I keep working as fast and hard as I can, Dominique. And come to the story with this.
We're getting a kick out of it.
So here we go. There's a storybook piece of the same subject there. But I'll do another one of Winnie the Pooh, I'm sure, going forward, because I love that story for one thing. And, initially, when I first did Winnie the Pooh, I didn't do the Disney version. I did the version by the original book. I've done that on several subjects, So out there's sort of like two versions of him. One that I've done that was inspired by the original book and the original illustrations that were in the book of, the Christopher Robin. And then I did the Disney collection, too. So I did the same thing with the Wizard of Oz and some others, where I'd do the original and then I would do the version. So anyway, answer is yes, it will be done.
Well, that is the answer we like to hear. Thank you.
I know there's a lot of people that want to ask questions, and I'll try to speed it along so that everybody gets a chance.
Very
and
good.
Not be quite so long-winded.
Everybody's really eager. Natasha has a question for you herself.
Yes. Will there be a Disney Traditions coloring book?
A Disney Traditions coloring book.
Great idea.
Because everything is Hardwood Creek.
That's a very good idea. This is the holiday traditions, coloring book, as you know.
They have it.
And those are based on pieces that we own the copyrights of, because those are all my original artwork like that. To do the Disney Traditions coloring book, which we are in negotiations right now for that, because that's an idea we've already thought of. It requires, the lawyers and so forth to get together and decide on whether we have to have permission, obviously, from Disney, and that is a separate category from doing like Disney Traditions figurines, and they take it category by category. We're hopeful that we can get the permission pretty soon to start on that, because we have all the artwork's there, and I mean it could go together lickety split. Soon as they give us the green light on that, we will do several versions of that, doing several different subjects because we've got it laid out already. So in answer to your question, as soon as Disney gives us the permission, you know, that'll be underway, and I'm sure that will be a very popular book because for one thing, the artwork is pretty good.
Yeah, I really love your drawings. I really love your drawings. So the sketches you made.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, it is a very nice answer that you already occupied with making that. So I think you are happy with the answer.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wie komt nou? Jij hebt je eigen vraag, hè?
Yes.
We have Marika has her own question.
Yes, a little bit harder question maybe, but do you have any rules or restrictions in designing your pieces? Like, for example, the princess castle dresses or the holiday princesses?
Well, let me say this. Of each one of my co-brands, whether it's, you know, Rudolph or whether it's the Grinch or whether it's Peanuts or whether it's Disney or all the rest, each one of them has requirements that they want to see or things that they don't want to see. And so I am restricted somewhat by each and every one of them, you know. And sometimes, like for instance, on like on Disney things, you know, we do patriotic things for a lot of our different lines, but they don't want us to get too far into that because they don't want this thing to be looked at as only an American subject, you know. So we don't do that. So we keep it so that everyone all around the world can relate to that subject, okay? And then there's a matter of sometimes of coloration even, you know. Some require certain colorations. And also certain iconic elements, for example, like Charlie Brown wears a sweater that's got a zigzag shape on it, okay? No matter what I do to all the rest of the decorations that I add or that I change and all that kind of stuff, I have to include that on Charlie Brown. So, I mean, there's certain small things like that, and then there's certain other things that are like subject sensitive that I do, and you know, and so all the while, what I want to do is I want to create things that will make people happy, not create things that will create controversy or anything like that. So yeah, I have some restrictions, and I even restrict myself sometimes in Heartwood Creek, which is my core thing. See, all the rest of them are co-brands subject to their copyrights. Heartwood Creek is solely mine, and a few other things. But so I could do anything I want to do. But even at that, you know, I do what my beloved customers, and that's you all, want, and what you deserve and what you require in a respectful way. So that's what guides me as far as the things that I do or don't do.
Mooi antwoord.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Thank you. Nice answer. Next question.
Thank you for that question, by the way.
Hello, Jim.
Rachel
Hello.
has her own question for you.
Hello. At
Hi.
first, I want to thank you for the beautiful piece. I really love it.
My pleasure.
I started to collect in 2018 with the Bambi series, and now I already have more than 100 pieces. So I'm a really good fan of yours. But I was wondering if you would make a piece of Mufasa, maybe again, a really beautiful one, and maybe one of the 100 Dalmatian with lots and lots of puppies. That would be really fun.
101 puppies.
Yes.
You know, we've done Musafa. We've done Musafa.
Mufasa?
Yeah, Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Mufasa. Musafa. She's looking for it. You know,
Dominique is looking.
Yeah, Dominique's looking. She'll find it. But yeah, those are those kind of subjects, you know, I will put those on the list because these things are ongoing and these things are current, you know, and we've done some personality poses and we've done some vignettes with that very subject. And if she can find them right quickly, they may be at the other studio. But anyway, rest assured that they have been done. Well, that's not Mulan.
Hold on.
Anyway, she's getting it together here. So
That is Simba.
well done.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's 2017.
Yeah, that was. She just handed me the original artwork for one piece. You may already have that piece. That's been kind of the linchpin of the. That's the kind of the linchpin of the story, and then we've got all these other pieces like this and that. But I know the piece that you're looking for, and she can't find it. But it is that. In fact, that piece has been done actually, because we wanted that as a personality pose because we've done the hyenas. We've done. That's another one that has a lot of these interesting characters in it. We've done, you know, Pumbaa. There you go. There's one of the pieces that are.
Yeah,
just ask Hugo. You will find anything.
So they want another one.
So you want another one? Okay. Well, another one's in. I'll do another one for you. You know, as the continuation of personality poses for a story like that. You know, I did back when they were first doing Lion King. I was called over to. This is before it came out. This is a little known fact. I was called over to the Burbank design offices in California. And this is before I started Heartwood Creek even. This is back when I was before I had started with UNESCO and everything. This was back when I was doing some work with some folks that were connected to that story. So I did a series of sculptures for Disney out there. I flew out and spent enough time in their studios to create a number of ancillary pieces for the original movie. So the movie wasn't even out yet, you know. They were showing me art cell, what they call cells of the movie that as it was going to be, and wanted me to. I did some frames and I did some personality things and different stuff like that. You know, sculpting there on site at Disney for that movie. So that's been one of those things. It's a subject that, you know, I was working on you know, Lion King before I worked on anything else for UNESCO or for Disney. And so that's been a great subject, you know, and dear to my heart, you know, from the very beginning. So it's something I always enjoyed. But yeah, there's more characters in there that are just unusual and interesting characters, even the sub characters, you know. And I'll get around to that eventually. But the main characters I will continue doing. It's like you know, we just finished something with Pumbaa and Simba or Simone and so forth. And so there's more and more on the way. So rest assured there'll be more on the way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jij hebt ook een vraag.
Yeah. Hi.
Angelique has also a question for you.
Yeah, I have a question for you. What's the drive to do all this? What's your drive?
What is your drive to do all this? You have a 16,000 drawing somewhere hidden away for us, but what is your drive? She wants to know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great question. You know, that I don't actually get asked that question very often because people are generally, you know, they're concerned with one piece or another, a subject or whatever, and they very rarely think of what is, you know, what actually touches me. You know, what makes me do what I do. That's a great question. The answer goes way back. You know, when I was just a very, very, very small boy, and I'm talking about even before I went, you know, started in school, it was obvious to everyone, my parents, my grandparents and everything, that I was unusually artistic, creative, and so forth. And I was fortunate enough to be raised in a family atmosphere that created a wonderful place for a young budding artist like myself to grow up in. I had creative parents. Now, they were simple people. We didn't have very much. And I'm sort of a blue collar guy. My folks worked in a mill in the South here, and my dad worked construction and so forth. So we were ordinary folk, but they were artistic, and they appreciated that trait in me. And so they nurtured me, and they encouraged me and all that, along with the beautiful stuff that my grandmother would do and all that. And so that was an early sort of a pseudo education for me. Okay. So I have been, it's just something in me. It's natural. It's like music is with some people, I cannot not do it. I wake up in the morning and I can't wait to get started doing what I do. And it's been like that for years and years, and it's never gotten old. It's never gotten tired. I've worked until I've been exhausted sometimes, and I just keep driving to do it. Because why? Because I want to see that outcome. When I get an idea, it gets in my head, and that's that starting point. It goes from nothing to an idea. The idea is complex and is complete, and I can't wait until I see that thing sitting in front of me. And then once I'm doing it, I'm thinking, okay, who's going to own this? How's it going to affect them? Am I going to touch them the way this piece might touch me? Is this going to be representative for them? Something. So it's a matter of not just doing this by myself. I'm not just an island alone. Because I know that I have all of you out there with me, and all of you, I might not have met you in person, but I know you, because I share this with you. We have this in common, and it means the world to me. And when I think of things like that, I can't stop, And that's what inspires me. That's what keeps me going. That's what motivates me, and that's what makes Jim Shore, Jim Shore. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. That was a great question.
Hedwig also. Oh, sorry. Hedwig also has a question for you.
Okay.
Hello. What character do you think is the hardest to create in a statue?
What character?
Yeah.
What character is the most difficult, the hardest thing to create?
Yeah.
In the figurine. That's a difficult one.
But it is kind of well. Here's the thing. See, the things that I do, people look at it and they say, "Oh my gosh, that's such a huge challenge. It's such how do your imagination think of this? How is it that you translate into this and that and the other?" Well, to everybody that looks at this stuff, or most people, being able to do that is impossible. And it is, if you can't do it, it is impossible. If you can do it, it's actually pretty easy. Because the work flows from my mind, through my heart, to my hands, my fingers, and everything, and it just happens, and it happens easily, However, there are a few characters that pose a bit of a challenge because of the fact that they have so many sides to their personality. Somebody like the Grinch, for example. The Grinch goes from somebody who's just flat out evil to somebody who actually has a heart and is caring and is now kind and loving, So to make that transition without losing the character, is somewhat of a challenge, so that I get exactly the right expression and the right feeling and the right flavor. I do a lot of nativities that are, my Christmas things. I want to be respectful of that. And I've done that in different, so many different ways too. And but the characters, I want the characters to express something, so each time I'm working on, like say a face, for example, that's like a miniature portrait. And that miniature portrait, has emotional content. So, you know, and the idea is to, okay, let that face tell part of the story. So I'm always thinking in that terms, you know, what's this expression? What's that expression? How's this going to look? How's that going to look? And then it's a matter of also composition and color work and rhythm and balance and all those things that go together artistically, you know, to combine together and make a piece that's satisfying to me, and that I pray and I hope that it's satisfying to you all too. See, so it's a joyful struggle. I'll put it that way. You know.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Hi, Jim.
Met Winnie
Hello.
before 2 times.
It's the 3rd time we meet. You signed my Grumpy, my Dopey.
Winnie has the big statement figurine Grumpy, and when you came over a few years ago, you signed it for him, and he's still ever so happy and proud for that big Grumpy. And so are we, because we also have.
You also have one. Jim, I have display cases stacked full of Snow White. And every time I look at it, I still think there's something missing. And what I'm missing, and that's my question to you, is there a possibility to create backgrounds for the statues? For instance, you have the figurine, the one that started them all, with the witch on one side and the evil queen on the other side. When you display him, you just see one side of it. Is there a possibility to create a wall with a mirror in it that you can put behind it as a sort of scene completer?
You know, that's a brilliant idea.
We love brilliant ideas.
I've got some more.
It's not often in these get-togethers that I share brilliance. Okay. So,
What's the idea?
but now I've often said, you know, because a lot of my pieces, while even aside from the two-sided pieces, like you mentioned, you know, that has one side on one side and another part of it on another side, some of my pieces are so highly detailed on the back that I suggest people put it in front of a mirror. However, your idea of creating backdrops that would be sold as a backdrop for a collection or a scene of using the personality pieces or the pieces that a small collection like that. Almost like when I do a nativity, I always include the creche, you know, the background stable piece and everything, and it serves as a background. That's a really good idea. In fact, that could actually be done for virtually every collection I have, you know. So
just start with Snow White, then it's okay.
He's a Snow White fan, so only start with Snow White and then the rest. All the other 13 princesses.
That's the one I'll start with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Very, very good suggestion. Great suggestion.
Bye.
Thank you.
Till next year.
Okay, I'll see you then.
Yeah.
I have a question. When you are doing signage tour in Europe or in America, can you choose the shops where you're shining?
Well, you know, that is, we choose shops for 3 different reasons. One reason is as almost like a reward for their support. Okay. Another reason that we choose is to assist them in their growth and development. So in other words, you know, we have enough influence over the collecting community to come in and actually increase the support of a shop. And the third reason is that we have certain favored shops that we go to a time and again for a lot of different reasons. For one thing, a lot of times it is a commercial consideration because the destination is so that we know that it's going to be a big, successful signing. Sometimes it's just because I love the people that are there. I love their attitude and their what they bring to the table and the community that they serve and all that kind of stuff. And I just love being there. You know, there's certain places I love to go, and that's one of the big reasons. And that's on me. That's my decision. And I'll tell you what, Haddon Hall is right at the top of my list, you know, because I love these guys for one thing. You know, these guys.
Thank you.
And I love Haddon Hall. So that's what the decision making is as to where we go and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
You met Petra already 2 times, but hopefully a 3rd time.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have more questions? Well, these were the questions from the people who signed in before, but we have a big question here, and that is Joren. He's from the Avengers group. We just introduced you. He didn't meet you before in
other shop. I never can talk about. Okay.
But he's dying to meet you next time. What are your questions?
Yeah, I sorry. I also draw. I have a drawing book with Jim Shore inspiration things. I want to show you some designs, and I'm making a book for you. So next time you come here, you have more inspiration things. I hope you make some things out of it. So I will show you some things.
Joren keeps on drawing as well. I don't think he will ever have 16,000 sketches, no. But he's doing a good job. Please tell him what the first.
Yeah, this is like Sue said. It's a draw of the wardrobe, and the Sultan and a chip on it. All the people here want it, right? So this is one. I have a lot of.
Hundreds more.
No, just a couple. I don't know if you know Anne Frank, but it's my first Hardwood Creek one. And it's Anne Frank from the World War. I don't know if you know it with the diary.
I am very familiar
Diary
with
of
that.
Anne Frank.
Yeah.
With the Diary of Anne Frank, very much so.
And
yes.
she's sitting on her diary and the book closet where she's hidden in Amsterdam.
That would be a beautiful tribute piece. It really would.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love that.
And another one is I really love this things you already draw. This is like the beast angry. And you made a lot of black things of it, so I hope you make more of them.
Yeah, I've done, as you say, a number of those things based on a word or an expression, along with a personality. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
And also, someone asked for the back thing.
Yes.
The back thing. I made a Beauty and the Beast display. And what I want is this to rotate, so the Belle and the Beast can dance on it with, this is a little bit transparent. And you can put a lot of pieces on it, and with other characters and things.
So it will be a backdrop to be used for different characters.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. In fact, as the one who made the suggestion about the backdrop, when he started making that suggestion, my mind started going through the different stories, and one of the things that got into my mind was a thing for Beauty and the Beast, very similar to that, with in that ballroom where they're dancing and everything, and it's so elevated and it's so beautiful and everything. Yeah.
Wow. We share the
so
same
we're
minds.
thinking along the same wavelength,
And a lot of Stitch fans, the Carper Heart Stitch. I made an example of.
So that one is still missing, carved by Heart Stitch.
And like big figures, like a real clock from Beauty and the Beast, is also nice that it works. It's not finished yet, but. It's something else than.
I'll tell you what would be interesting in that regard. I've made a number of actual functional clocks.
Yeah.
And and they'd be, so I've made like a cuckoo clock, that had actually a rooster that came
We
out.
have
in
it
front
in
of-
our Jim Shore Museum here.
So I'm sure you're familiar with those. I've got a lot of them, and in fact, I've made a lot of them that I've never put on the line. Actually, to tell you the truth, yeah, there's one of them.
Yeah.
And
Yay. There are some collectors here who have it.
there's the other one.
Yeah,
If you're familiar with that, that's quite a project there. That one works, and the doors open and a rooster comes out.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, so to create a clock for the that story,
Yeah.
that would be good, man. That would really be that would be good. In fact, that's a good idea to make a clock collection. I could make the clock tower in Cinderella and some different other things.
Yeah.
Good idea.
New ideas.
And also Lumiere with the lights in a big figure. So it works with the clock.
So the clock with the clock, Lumiere with lamps, with lights.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to show, because you get next year, you get like more than 20 pieces, or I hope I make 50. But this is a piece you made with Mickey, but not with Minnie. It's the moon, Mickey on the moon, and this is the Minnie on the moon. But she's on a different side. But yeah, still missing, so it makes a perfect couple.
That piece, believe it or not, is in the works.
Wow!
It's very, very, very close to what you just showed. So that's amazing, because I use the similar designs and everything.
Oh wow! Wow!
Well done.
So Joren will present you these sketches when you come over. You want to?
Yeah, I want to make a book for you with all my work. And you inspire me, and I hope, if you get inspiration of it and make it, or you could call me Disney Avenger. No. No.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. I look forward to meeting you when I come back, and that will be as soon as I possibly can. Once we get rid of all this, the masks and all that stuff, then I'll be on my way over there. And I am gratified and I'm humbled that you would create something like that for me. I spend so much time thinking about what am I going to do for somebody else, and I'm so humbled and appreciative when somebody actually turns that around, does something for me. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, that was really nice.
That was
we have a few more questions.
Wonderful.
Familie Jansen, all the way from Amsterdam. Is that correct?
Horen.
A bit further than Amsterdam. So they drove nearly 3 hours to see you. Correct, huh?
Correct.
I'm gratified. I'm gratified. I hope the drive was worth it.
Zeker weten, certainly.
Certainly.
Yes.
You have a question.
Yeah, I come here. My daughter is now at Disney Paris, and her name is Selina, and she wanna thank you for all your work. She is crazy about it, and. That was her question, but there was a woman here inside. Die had also a question to you. Ik zeg, I gonna ask him. If there could be in the future a Santa with a seal.
Santa
with a seal.
A seal?
Yeah, a seal. As a sea lion, huh? Zeehond.
Yeah.
A seal. Is that the proper English word? A sea lion or a seal?
A seal.
That's
Yeah. A seal.
Okay.
Is that the proper English word? A Santa with a seal.
Okay, let me say something about that.
Yes.
When I was first asked to do Heartwood Creek, that started out by a request from one of the vice presidents of UNESCO asking me to come up with something completely original and different and groundbreaking and never have been done before in Santas. because they knew that I was able to design that kind of stuff. And I told them, I said, that might be impossible because I personally have done hundreds of Santas, and hundreds of artists have done hundreds of Santas for hundreds of years. So possibly it's already all been done. And in my time, I have done Santas riding a goose, Santa's riding a cat, Santa's riding a swan. They've been riding a horse, a moose, a elk, caribou, a polar bear, a penguin.
But no seal yet.
But no seal.
Just about everything you can think of. And I do not believe that I've done Santa Claus with a seal yet.
Now comes the first time for a seal.
So that might very well be a first of all time. Okay, that's on the list.
Yes,
Dominique,
okay, thank you.
Santa with a seal.
Thank you very much.
It will be unique in the world.
So that's, and when I promise to do something, I'm not just blowing smoke. I mean what I say.
Okay.
When I say that I will put that on the list,
yes,
and that I will do one of those, and you will see it in the collection, and you will know that you are the one who inspired it.
Thank you. I believe you. Thank you very much.
Jij hebt ook een vraag.
Ja, ik wou wat kort zeggen. Hi Jim.
Hello.
I just want to thank you for your work. It inspires me every day when I watch it. And
Well,
that's
thank you.
pretty much all. I just want to say that. So.
Well,
That was
thank you very
nice.
much.
I mean, just a simple, I love your work and it inspires me every day and it makes me happy every day. Yeah, that's what you say.
heeft made her mother crazy about
Ik word heel emotioneel.
She gets a bit emotional to see you, to talk to you. So guess what happens when you see her next year in real? So, well.
We are all crying here.
Let me tell you something that really touches my heart. You know, I know how it is to love something and something so much that it brings tears, and they're joyful tears. You know, when I was at the last time I was at Haddon Hall, you know, as we were leaving, you know, I hugged Eugene and Hugo, and we wept together. You know. And so I appreciate that more than I can possibly tell you. You know, that sentiment, that simple sentiment, really means a lot to me, and it touches me. And I cannot wait to come back and to meet you in person and share this kind of sentimentality together in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take your other daughter.
And my other daughter is also coming there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Marcel,
you know, Eugene, I hope she understands just how much that really means to me. It just means, it means an awful lot to me to have the folks over there think so highly of my work. It humbles me, and it just it fills me with joy to have somebody be that, you know, that passionate about what we share. And that really touches me, for real.
Thank you. We have Marcel here. You also met Marcel already a couple of times in our shop. And Marcel has a question.
Okay.
Yes. I want to know, how far are you on the Three Amigos?
On the Three Amigos?
Yeah. With the Joe karaoke?
No, the Three Amigos.
No, the ducks. I think he means the three ducks, right?
No, the Three Amigos. Joe Karaoke, Donald Duck, and the Rooster.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Let me pull it.
Okay, she's gonna pull the artwork right now.
I don't think you've done it, but you have something with that.
Well, I haven't started it yet. I mean, I haven't started the actual sculpt yet, but the artwork's done. The artwork is done, and if she can find it. Anyway, we've got the artwork, we've got the preliminaries done for it, and it's in the rough out stage. In other words, my initial thing is, of course, I do the artwork, I do the detailed drawings, I do the color work, and I do all that kind of stuff in preparation for the actual sculpting or the carving of the piece. And then we lay out the.
That's not it.
Lay out the. No, that's not it.
That's not it. That's cute though.
That is cute.
You want to show it?
No.
Okay.
But okay, well, rest assured that piece is being done. That on my next. See, I take the work by sort of in blocks, and when I'm working on the design work, I do a whole bunch of that, and then we do the color work and everything. So we're in preparation for the actual physical work, and when I get started on that, then I work nonstop on that kind of stuff, and that will be in our next group of the carving, the sculpting, and so forth. So it will be out, but it won't. It'll take a little while because, as I've said, sometimes the time lapse between starting on the project, and we're well into the project, by the way, because all of these go through back and forth approvals as I go along, as you can imagine. So between that and the time that it ends up in the shop, it has to go through the trade, the trade shows and that kind of thing. So that's sometimes a year or even more between the start of the actual creative part of it and it being on the shelf. So yes, these are the.
Well, that's them, right?
Yeah, these are that's the characters. So that's the inspiration of what I'm going by. So
correct, is that right?
Yes, of course it is. So
okay. So we'll see. We'll wait.
It will be. Well, it'll be. It won't be. It won't be this year. They'll be shown in the midterm of next year. So that means they could be conceivably in the show proper in either 03, January of 03, possibly some early orders for Christmas of 02 from the mid-year. We'll see how it plays out. But it'll be as quickly as we can get it done. It'll be on the works because it is one of those pieces that I know we talked about early on, and so it's in the works.
We will try to be patient.
Yeah.
Yes.
One question more. Brother Bear.
Oh, Brother Bear.
Brother Bear.
How far are you on that? Because there are not much figurines.
We that's another subject that we've been asked for a number of times actually to do Brother Bear, and so what we're doing that is we're starting with an initial grouping of that. So that's one of those things that I'm not going to release that until I get the sufficient grouping to start that collection because that should be fairly extensive.
It's on the list.
We've got some artwork already, but we're gonna do that as a full-blown collection. That probably will not be shown until I'm sure at least until January of 23 in the trade shows. Might be a little bit later than that even because I want that to be a real introduction. If I dribble it out as one piece or the other piece, sometimes it loses its initial impact. So we have to consider that kind of stuff. On a subject like that, it needs to go out and really be a collection to begin with. It might be 4 or 5, possibly 6 pieces.
Well, we will be patient.
Yeah, we will be patient, and it was nice to meet you again.
Well, it was great to see you again. I'll see you again on my next visit.
Hier komt, ja. Just before we go to the next question, we have a lady at home, and it's Nicolette Kruid. She is partly paralyzed. She's really a fan of yours. She likes all your figurines. She buys regularly from us, and she really wanted to be here. Nicolette, I hope you are watching. Nicolette Kruid, and we say hello to you from Nicolette. And she just has a very simple question. She starts collecting now the big princesses, the big statement group. And the only question she wants to know if you also make a Tinkerbell in the big...
Nicolette. Yes, as a matter of fact, we have a large Tinkerbell
Maybe at the studio?
It's at the studio. Gosh, I wish it was here.
No.
Yeah, we have an oversized piece that we got of Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell, incidentally, is one of my very favorite characters. You know, people ask me, what's your favorite Disney character? I like to sidestep that question sometimes because everybody has their favorite, and I don't want to disappoint everybody. But early on, I used to say Tinkerbell. You know, sexy little thing. You know, she's got an attitude and everything. I just thought it was really. It's a cute character. It's fun to do, and you know, it's something I've done her in many, many different ways. Small, large ornaments, big pieces, and everything. And yeah, that big piece that's in release, right, Donnie?
No, it's old, like 10 years old.
Okay, well, anyway, it's something that we will.
Making a note.
We'll revisit that.
We will tell Nicolette that we put it in your head and that you are thinking of it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Please convey that to her and thank her for her question.
Okay.
Hello, Jim. This is the first time we met. I am Kirsten, and I've always been a fan of Disney. And since I met my boyfriend, I also became a fan of your work. But I also am a fan of Harry Potter, and I was wondering if you maybe can start a Harry Potter series.
Well, try not to make your boyfriend too jealous over our relationship. No, I'm just kidding. Harry Potter. We actually, you know, UNESCO had the license to do Harry Potter at one time. They've got it again. It lapsed for a while. We did some things way back early on with Harry Potter.
Did you?
know, yes, we did. In fact, I did that early on, even before I did Harwood Creek. Yeah.
Wow.
And but I will do that again. You know, my daughter is a huge Harry Potter fan, and so she's the one that's been bugging me, you know, endlessly to all the things she wants me to do with Harry Potter. So yeah, that is something that once I get started on that, I mean, I've actually started a piece that represents Hogwarts, School of Wizardry. That's kind of the centerpiece, the linchpin of the collection. Yeah, but there's just so much, you know. There's just so many characters. There's time frames too, you know, that as the books progressed, and as I'm sure you've read all the books, and as the movies have, you know, progressed and so forth. But there's an awful lot of symbolism and characters and vignettes. I mean, it just goes on forever. And so it's one of those subjects that I will never run out of subjects to do once I get started on it. So yeah, that's something that you'll be seeing pretty soon too, because it's something that, well,
Get permission, right?
for one thing, yeah, we have to make sure that we do that according to, you know, the initial licensing agreements and stuff like that. And they're also picky, you know, they're needlessly picky, I might add. But it's either working with, like, if I'm working with Warner Brothers, or I'm working with Disney, or I'm working with somebody that's on that level, you know, they are so jealously protective of their brand, and that I kind of understand, I kind of appreciate. But it's sort of, sometimes it puts a hamstring on me, and because I'm by nature, I am rebellious. So I like to do things the way I like to do, and sometimes we clash a little bit. But so everything I do really has to be scrutinized by them pretty closely. But I guarantee you that'll be in the works, and it'll be in extreme detail.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is er nog iemand? Ja, nou, kom naar voren. Now, you finally meet Anita. And Anita has the biggest Hardwood Creek Facebook group in Europe.
Thank you.
And Anita has her own job, of course, but beside her job, she likes to, how do you say, run this Facebook group, this special Hardwood Creek Facebook group. And we don't know if there's more in the world, but we say she's the biggest in Europe. But you, Anita, you have a question for Jim.
Yes.
I would like to know what your 3 most favorite Hardwood Creek items are.
Well, to begin with, thank you, Anita. I appreciate what you do. And I want you to extend to your entire group, my warmest and heartfelt appreciation for their support and for their sharing the enthusiastic, art that we all, have together. Now, in answer to your question,
Bet they haven't seen that.
honest to goodness, that's a hard question to answer, and the reason for that is because Heartwood Creek, unlike some of these other things, there's so many different sections to it. Heartwood Creek is, seasonal pieces like the Santas and the angels and the snowmen and the nativities and all of that's the lighthouses and the cats and the folk art animals and the all those different things like that. Then there's the things that are like pieces around the world, whether it's the leprechauns of Ireland or, the different kind of iterations I have for Germany or for France or for Belgium or some of these other things. Then there's the core unit, which is sort of folk art. Let me have that.
That one's even
sort
cooler.
of kind of folk art, sort of folk art oriented thing. And then you go to the white woodland. Hand me that white woodland piece or two.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got the Grinch, or you got the gnomes, and you've got the black and white of the Nordic, and you've got the blue collection, and you've got so all these different collections, and to say, okay, on any given day, I'm really thoroughly into white woodland, or I'm into this sort of folk art, this kind of, silly sort of folk art stuff, So, I mean, then sometimes it's the more serious stuff of like the,
This, I don't think they've seen this. This is 2022.
Okay, this is a new piece. So a piece like this, that is also part of Heartwood Creek, but it is completely different from so many of the other things I do. And, and then there's the Victorian collection, and so yikes, I pull my hair out. When I'm in the studio, when I'm in my studio and somebody asks that question, I can walk over to my collection of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces, and I can point to a piece and I say, okay, right now that's my favorite piece. Then I think, well, no, that's my favorite piece. I mean, it's an impossible question to answer because I have so many different. It's like that. Where's that?
Which one?
Let's see.
So I have to come by to your place to watch.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite piece?
Good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a hard one. I love so much.
Well, I'm sort of the same way. I get so wrapped up and so passionate about, just like that.
So beautiful.
See, this is another, direction. It's one of my, Holy Family things for Christmas, and it's got the rotating, thing inside there. It's all lit up and everything. And I like stuff like this, and it's detailed and fairly complex all the way around, and that kind of thing. And then I've got pieces like that sleigh right there. Oh, I love it. I've got pieces that are like this, that are centerpieces for that subject, and this is one of my favorite pieces of the sleighs that I've done. So there's a lot to that, and I look at that and I think, wow, as far as the sleigh is concerned, today maybe this is my favorite piece. But I wish we had that one. Where's that one of Santa riding a reindeer? You know what I'm talking about?
Not riding the bear.
Reindeer. Real dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I'll go look.
there's an awful lot of different pieces and a lot of different.
I'm sure they've got it. Do you have Santa riding a reindeer? I'm sure Eugene and you got
That's a fairly new piece, though.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We look downstairs.
Anyway, I mean, I could go on and on and on about. Two things. I wish I was there, and I wish you were here. Because if you were here, you would see my collection, and my collection is pretty big. And
I will send Dominique an email.
yeah, we have an awfully lot of. Oh, this is
plenty of room.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's not the one I'm talking about. But we have pieces like this. We talked earlier about Santa riding different things. This is one of my favorite pieces. Is that piece that had a lot of glitter on it and everything, just exploding out of the snow?
Huh.
Yeah.
I love glitter.
Okay. Well, anyway, in answer to your question, I don't know.
Too much.
No, good answer.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and thank you for what you do. And my best to your whole group.
Thank you.
We have Regina, but she would really, really love to be on a picture with you. And since that is not possible in a physical way, we just put her next to the camera here. And we are going to take a picture of you with Regina.
Yeah, it's almost my birthday, so this is the best perfect present for me to take a picture with you now.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We will see now if it is. Yeah, I think it's perfect. Jim cannot see what is, but yeah. Beautiful picture. Thank you.
Okay, which side is she on? Is she on this side?
We took the picture and she was on, exactly that side. Yeah, you're right. But the picture has been made.
Over here again.
Again. Ooh, I think he's kissing you now. Yeah. Yeah, perfect, Jim, perfect. Yes. Well, not a lot of people get kissed by you, but Regina did. Well, we have come to an end with the questions, and we know that you also have another session with our colleague in England, in the United Kingdom, in a few hours. And well, we hope, of course, that you will have also very nice time with Simon, Lord, and his team. Sorry. Oh yeah, Anita will go quickly around if there's more people who have a question. Perhaps you have a question, Hugo, because everybody has a question, but Hugo is also allowed to have a question, I think. Happy Halloween.
Well, I don't have a question. I only want to say hello to Shan and Jennifer and Robin. So I miss them also very much. So that's what I want to say. So give a very big hug to them from us. And we hope to see you soon here. And
I will give them all a big hug and a kiss, and I'll say this is from Hugo.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We have two more people who are dying to ask you a question. Kom maar.
Okay.
What's more coffee? Ready?
Wat wil je vragen?
Let's do this.
Of die nog meer Star Wars beeldjes gaat maken.
Wat is je naam?
Sander.
Sander would like to know if you also in the future would make some Star Wars figurines.
You know what? I don't speak Dutch, but as soon as he opened his mouth, I knew what the question was going to be.
Hij wist al meteen wat je ging vragen. But now the answer.
Okay, the answer to that is we are trying our best to get permission from Disney to do that. Dominique, as soon as Dominique comes back, I'll show you something that I did for Star Wars. Okay, well, the way it works is that Disney, while it owns Star Wars, and it owns Pixar, and get that Star Wars thing that I did, and they, while they own those properties, what I have permission to do is virtually everything that Disney does, as far as the the princesses and the stories and the everything like that, the Donalds and the Mickey and all that kind of stuff, except Star Wars and Pixar, mainly because those things have different agreements with the people that originated those lines. Now, I've done some preliminary design work for Star Wars so that I can get started on that as soon as they give me permission. And here's one of them, if you can see that. Can you see that picture? That is a rendition, in fact, based on my artwork. That is, of course, Darth Vader. And then in his cape, that's the Millennium Falcon that's in a scene on his cape. That would be the first piece that I will do when they give me permission. And then that will start a whole collection of additional pieces that'll be all the characters and the scenes and so forth from Star Wars. And I'll tell you the truth, I've been asked that by many, many people, and I can't wait to get to do it because that's going to be such a wonderful collection because I love it too. I was in the theater watching Star Wars on the first day that it came out in the theaters. I watched it the first day. So I've been a Star Wars fan for a long, long time. So yeah, that's in the works as soon as we get permission.
So it was a good question of Sander.
It was a very good question.
Papa, mama vertagen het. Zeg maar dankjewel tegen Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great question.
Now, we would like to have another picture. Okay. Then Anouk, you have, I think, the last question of today. Anouk has a question for you.
Hello.
Hi there.
I was wondering if you're going to make a piece with Stitch and his brothers and sisters, like the other experiments.
Oh yes, I did. As a matter of fact, Dominique, gone again. But yeah, I wish you could see that piece. Dominique's got that piece, but yeah, that's something that we've, there's so many aspects of that story, okay, and that character, and I'm trying to do a little bit of everything, like the person earlier who said, they wanted Lilo by herself, and they want Stitch with these other characters, and they want the female version, the female that enters into the story and that kind of thing, and so I've tried to sort of add that to my list of things to do, and while I'm working on things, sometimes I'll work on that if I have, if I have a set number of things that I want to do, that it goes by a list that we generate in our brainstorming. And so I know what I'm doing, but sometimes I'll take a break in between and do something like that, It'll be just something that I pull off my list, oh, somebody suggested this, somebody wanted that, so I'll take a break and do that. Because when I'm working, I work from 6 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 5:30. I work from 6 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock at night.
That's
and
not healthy.
I do that. Well, it's my sacrifice for you, okay? I do that day after day after day after day after day until I get everything done. And then I'm like a bear. I will hibernate for a month. But that's what I do. So I get a lot done. People say, well, how do you get so much done? Well, I never stop. And I resent going to sleep. And I eat while I'm designing and working. So that's what I do, and that's the way I work. And but that's in the list. In fact, if she could show you the stuff, I've got some of it on the way that's actually been done. But so in answer to your question is yes, I will be doing that and more.
Thank you very much.
Well, then we said to you it was the last question, but we can't get enough of you, so no, it was not the last question. Sorry. Sari is also a member of the Avengers group. She's also every day making the Facebook group, working and serving the collectors. Sari, what is your question?
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
I know you get a lot of questions about will you make this one, will you make that one? So I'm asking another one as well. We mentioned earlier about mother should never be separated from the son. And as a single mom, I can really relate to that. And talking about single parents, will there ever be a statue of Goofy and Max together? Because Jordan actually made a drawing, but he forgot it today. So I'm asking you now.
You know, that's a good idea. In fact, we were talking about that just the other day. You know, and I'm serious. We were having a discussion in there about the different characters. Like we were talking about, you know, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You know, the cousins of Donald, and his uncle you know, Scrooge, and then we were talking about, okay, well, you know, who is related to you know, to Mickey, you know, and how far back they go, and how about, you know, what's the relationship of Pluto to everybody, you know, and then Goofy, what's it, and that's exactly who we were talking about. And Dominique, have I got any of the artwork for the you know, Max, the son of Goofy? Remember?
Goofy's son.
Yeah.
When would that?
She might not be able to find it, and that might take some time. But rest assured, that's something that we were talking about. We were talking about, okay, we need to include that, you know. So I've got sketch art already for that very subject, you know, and I think it's interesting to include those obscure subjects, you know, those obscure details about this as the story of Mickey and all the whole gang unfold, you know. And you can't, it's like having, you know, Mickey and not having Minnie, or having Donald not having Daisy, you know, that they make up part of who those characters are, you know. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. And you know, so it's in consideration, and it will be undoubtedly in the works at some point, because it's such an interesting aspect of that character. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Angelique wants to say something. Really.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi. My question was already explained, because I wanted to ask you for a very special piece when they exist 30 years, but you said it already. So I was thinking, what shall I ask now? But I want to ask you a really different question. Where did you meet your lovely wife, Jen?
Oh.
You know,
Right.
I am always delighted when people ask me these various questions, and rest assured, I have an interesting and entertaining answer for all of them. Some of them are believable, you know. No, I'm just kidding. If I tell you an answer, it'll be true. Now, here's with Jan. We met. Okay, I was early on as an artist. I did not have a very structural life. You know, it was kind of you might say footloose, kind of drifting and doing my artwork wherever I could, trying to make ends meet, and you know. The phrase "starving artist" is very appropriate phrase, because it's very easy to do. You know, I don't know, and making a living as an artist is very, very difficult. You know, I do lectures in different universities around to different art schools and so forth, and I tell them, I say, well, you know, be prepared to maybe do some suffering and some sacrificing if you want to be an artist, because it's tough. And it's no easy road, you know. And I've been very, very blessed at being successful as an artist, and part of that is because of the fact that I found Jan and Jan found me. Okay, so my parents early on were living in a state north of us called Tennessee, and they were living in the eastern part of Tennessee. Well, I was raised here in South Carolina. So at the time I think I was maybe bumming around. Maybe I was out in Texas or somewhere like that. And trying to find myself, as they say. And my parents had moved down. They were going to move down to the coast down near Myrtle Beach, but they stopped in a town called Heath Springs, which is not far from here. And they liked the little town. They found a little house there, so they started living there. Well, Jan was living in Heath Springs too, along with her mother. Well, Jan is also artistic, and she is an artist, okay? So her mother and her had a little gift shop where they made artistic crafts and gifts and that sort of thing there in Heath Springs. Well, my mother's very artistic too. So she didn't have anything better to do, and she liked, visiting them at this thing. Well, she started working for Jan. Well, Jan was describing, my mom was describing to Jan me and, her son, Jim. And so Jan had gotten out of a relationship, so she was kind of, looking around too. Well, she loved my artwork so much because my mother was constantly showing her things that I had painted and different things that I had done. And so Jan has told me that she fell in love with me before she met me, because mainly because of all the things that my mother described and the things that she showed, because so when we got together, when I first went over there, my mother said, "Hey, you have to come to the shop and meet these people, and meet Jan and then meet her mother. Her mother's name Kitty. Meet Jan and Kitty." So, and Mom had described Jan to me, and she described me to Jan. So the framework was laid already by my mother. And so when I walked in the door and first met Jan, it was like I already knew her. And it was like you talk about love at first sight. We were in love before we had, before our first sight, So it was absolutely a marvelous way to start a relationship. And as soon as we got together, we said, we are going to be artists together. And for a while there, it wasn't easy. In fact, we lived at one time in what we call a mule shed. It's like a small barn where they keep mules and keep animals. That was all we could afford. It was just very, very simple beginnings like that. But we were never unhappy because we were in love, and we are to this day. And we had a goal and a vision, and part of what I did as far as being inspired to do everything I did, came from the relationship that I have with this wonderful, marvelous, unique woman and partner that I have. So she's my best friend, she's my lover, she's my partner, and she is the center of my universe. And I love her. I love her just as much as I can. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question.
Well,
Actually,
we hope you bring Jan again when you come. It was always very nice to see her, and Hugo also is.
I love her.
Hugo is fond of her as well, and we hope Jan decides to come with you when you ever decide to come back to Europe.
Oh, you could not keep her away. I can tell you that.
Well, that's good to hear.
Cola is ready for her here. Coca-Cola is ready, not Pepsi.
That's the two things we have to have: Coca-Cola and my plate.
Yeah. Well, we will make sure. Well, Jim, we want to thank you for the time that you have spent with us. And I think everybody was really happy to see you and to talk to you, and if not talk to you, to listen to you. And so thank you for that so much. And perhaps we can give Jim a big applause.
Thank you both too. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to spend this time with the two of you and all the folks there at your beautiful shop. And once again, congratulations for your year anniversary. I look forward to celebrating with you the 30th year next year and being with you in person. It's been an absolute delight. The questions were wonderful. Your whole staff is wonderful, and all of the people that are patrons of your beautiful, beautiful shop are absolutely wonderful too. I love you all. Thank you so much, and I love you guys.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye. Until we meet again.
Bye-bye.
Nou jongens, bedankt jullie allemaal. Zo te zien van Jim het helemaal geweldig. En ik hoop dat jullie toch geweldig hebben gevonden. Ja, Jim heeft dus niet alleen ons bedankt, maar ook jullie bedankt voor het komen. En ook Team Avengers en Team Hardwood Creek. Dus jullie ook bedankt voor jullie tomeloze inzet. Bedankt aan alle andere vrijwilligers die hier altijd maar weer klaarstaan voor jullie en voor ons. Ga niet iedereen noemen, want dan maak ik misschien een fout door 1 persoon te vergeten. Dus bedankt aan alle vrijwilligers dat jullie iedere keer weer voor ons klaarstaan. Wat zeg je? We doen het met liefde, zegt Anita. Nou, dat is goed om te horen. Voor degenen die nu tot het einde gebleven zijn, hadden we ook beloofd dat we de loodjes zouden gaan trekken. En Anita is al heel driftig bezig met het schoonmaken van Jim's tafel. Ja, geweldig. En hij is ook heel lekker. Wij hebben al een stuk gehad.
De mama van Anita, die heeft de taart in allemaal lieve, kleine, pittige stukjes gesneden. Dus straks na de loterij, voor wie nog wil rondkijken of afronden waar je mee bezig was, dat kan. En er staat beneden in de keuken allemaal een stukje taart voor jullie klaar.
Nou, we hadden natuurlijk gezegd voor degenen die tot het einde blijven, die gaan meedoen aan de loterij. En dat houdt dus ook in dat als we een loodje trekken met een naam van de persoon die niet meer aanwezig is, dan trekken we vervolgens een nieuw loodje. Dat vonden wij het eerlijkst. Zo hebben we het gisteren ook aangekondigd. En zo gaan we het ook doen. Dus als een beloning naar iedereen. En we weten best wel dat een aantal mensen om verschillende redenen weg moesten. Maar dit is onze manier om jullie te bedanken voor het feit dat jullie hier zo geweldig mee hebben gedaan aan het evenement. Er zijn een paar prijzen beschikbaar gesteld. Deze is bijvoorbeeld beschikbaar gesteld door UNESCO. Wij zijn UNESCO ook dankbaar voor de kans die we weer gehad hebben om met Jim te praten. En zoals jullie weten zijn we wel eens een keer boos op UNESCO omdat ze dingetjes in onze ogen fout doen. Maar ze doen ook een heleboel dingen heel goed. En ze helpen ons toch ook maar altijd weer aan hele mooie spullen. En op hun manier proberen ze jullie daar dus ook blij mee te maken. Dus UNESCO bedankt voor het sponsoren van dit grote beeld. We hebben nog een ander beeld. Deze Carve by Heart. Die is gesponsord door de Avengers groep. En we hebben ook nog 2 mooie White Woodland beelden gesponsord door de Hardwood Creek Facebookgroep. Nee, en dan hebben we hier nog een paar mooie gnooms en Knabber en Babbel. Die wij gesponsord hebben samen met de headset Mickey en een aantal kalenders en een aantal coloring books. Ja, Anita, dan mag jij beginnen. Die hadden we 2 keer, die hadden we 2 keer. Waar beginnen we mee? Met het kleurboek. Nou, trek een loodje. Doen we die dan op het einde of hoe gaat dat? Oké.
Dus deze hebben we 2 keer?
Ja, een kalender 2 keer. Wie is het?
Nummer blauw. Zijn alle kleuren hetzelfde? Alles is blauw. 406. En dat is zus Smit. Hij is weg? Oh. Hij heeft zijn pech.
Nou, dat rijmt. Weg is pech. Volgende.
Je noemt geen namen, alleen nummer.
Alleen nummer.
206. 206.
Yay! Erwin!
Dankjewel.
Dankjewel, dames. Dank je.
De volgende. Oh, we hadden nog zo'n boek, hè? Oh, die wordt gehaald. En nog een kalender wordt gehaald. Die stond boven op de kast. Boven op de...
Sally. Nee. Pak allemaal net het diepste gelijk.
Nou, wie hebben we alleen het nummer? Het nummer is...
207. 207.
Niemand 207, dan gaan we door. Naar de volgende. Nee, dat zeg je niet meer. Dat heeft geen zin. 207. De volgende.
Nog een keer, Sally.
Jeetje, 205.
205. Yay! Nou, heb je een kalender, hè?
Ook mooi.
Alsjeblieft. Nou, dan gaan we even door met... met deze. Ik kan niet lezen, ik heb geen bril op.
Dan doet je man, lieverd.
Oh ja, het nummer, ik hoef alleen maar het nummer te doen. 109. Yay! Yay, geweldig. Alsjeblieft. Dan, waar gaan we dan voor?
Ik vind dat Mike wel mag grabbelen.
Mike mag grabbelen. We zijn weg.
Nee, die zijn nog wel.
Oké.
Die moeten erin.
Ja, die hebben we nu.
Oh, die gaan we nu erin gooien.
Heb je een loodje
Er
aan?
waren nog mensen die hadden geen loodje in de pot, maar nu wel. Maar jij hebt een andere getrokken.
Ik heb nummertje 409.
409. Petra, Hardwood Creek. Hardwood Creek. Dan.
Was je hoorde al met niet?
Voor een gnoom.
Gaan we deze doen?
Mooie Noordic Noël gnoom.
202.
Yay! Dan, nog een mooi white, ja zeg het maar. Maar we kunnen nu toch gewoon eerst de kleurboek doen en de kalender en dan krijgen we hem daar. Ik bedoel, we hebben ze rikken. Dus, we gaan voor het coloringboek. Het tweede kleurboek. Jim liet hem trouwens net nog zien in zijn live. Ah, dat maakt ook niet uit. We kunnen altijd ruilen. Mag zelfs de genoom zijn, maakt niet uit.
405. 405.
Meneer Van der Loo. Meneer Van der Loo komt een cadeau aan. Je mag kiezen welke het wordt.
Goeie vraag.
Faith en Harmony past wel bij jou.
Nee, pak deze vind ik leuk. Dankjewel.
Dank je. De volgende. Nog een kalender. Die hebben we onder liggen, dus die hoeven we niet fysiek erbij te hebben. Degene die nu het... wie trekt de loodje?
Sally. Ja hoor.
Of gaat Petra daar een nummertje...
Oh, Petra.
Petra is het diehard. Komt normaal altijd met de trein. Vandaag mocht ze meerijden. Met Menno en Hans. Komen ze jou ook nog ophalen, Petra, of niet? 116. Mevrouw Klaas uit België. De kalender is voor u. Maar de kalender ligt nog onder. Je krijgt hem daar. Dan gaan we voor Knabber en Babbel. Hugo trekt weer een roodje. Eerst Joren.
Joren, ogen dicht. Grabbelen maar. Nee.
Rion 10 dagen.
Michael van der Linden, 117.
Is naar huis. We hoeven geen namen te horen, Joren. We doen alleen nummers. Onthoud dat nou. Weg is pech. Alleen het nummer.
112.
Yay! Michelle, Michelle, Michelle. Gelukkige winnaar. Jongens, ze komen langzaam bij deze grote mooie... Dan, nog een gnoom. Alleen de nummers.
Nummer 304.
304. Yes.
Rachel. Yes.
Met die mooie genoom. Ja, maar goed, dan gaat het niet de laatste zijn. Hè?
Nee, zo zeker niet.
Volgens mij, ja, de micro doet het nog. Dan. Ja, dit is toch ook wel. Ja. Oh ja, Daniel, jij hebt de kalender van Raymond. Yay!
Alleen het nu.
208.
Heel hard. Wie? 208. Wie?
Kom naar voren voor je mooie beeld. Yay! Nou wordt het.
Sander. Kom maar.
Oh ja, helemaal vergeten jongen. Echte diehard. Jij gaat iemand blij maken.
Die is cool, hè? Ja.
Die gaan we iemand blij mee maken. En dan alleen het nummer zeggen, niet de naam. Kijk maar even welk nummer het is.
401.
401.
Dan komt iemand naar voren.
Yay!
Goed vast?
Ja. Alsjeblieft.
Dat is goed. Geniet van een mooie prijs.
Ja.
Komen we op.
Hoe heet je?
Hoe heet je?
Rebecca.
Kom maar je maar eens op te stilstaan. Lukt dat? Huppatee. Rebecca gaat iemand heel blij maken met deze hele mooie Mickey. Ja, maar ja. Degene die je eruit haalt. Het nummer?
403.
Hey. Goed gedaan, Rebecca. Kom maar, mag je naar onder. Hey.
Ja, heel goed gehad.
Nou jongens, even klappen voor Marloes. Wat een mooie hoofdprijs. Dus mede namens Unesco, want Unesco heeft hem gesponsord. Jongens, jullie allemaal bedankt voor het komen. Denk ik dan nog een keer aanstippen, we hebben lekkere taart staan. Iedereen kan nu dadelijk op zijn gemak de Storybook nog afhaken, want die staan natuurlijk nog bij Iwan helemaal veilig opgesteld. Misschien zijn er ook nog mensen die iets willen kopen of afrekenen. Dat kan natuurlijk ook. Wij zijn voorlopig nog niet weg. Probeer nog een beetje geduld te hebben dat we alles rustig kunnen afhandelen. En als er vragen zijn, meld je even bij de Avengers-leden of bij de Hardwood Creek-leden. Of bij Hugo of bij mij. En dan komt alles goed. Nogmaals allemaal hartstikke bedankt voor het komen. Groetjes! Ja, maar hoe? Oh, sorry. Ja. Jongens, mensen die thuis mee hebben gekeken met de live event, ook hartstikke bedankt voor het meekijken. Sorry voor het feit dat jullie geen vragen konden stellen. We weten dat jullie dat heel graag gedaan hadden. En nou, wie weet, als Jim een keer terugkomt naar Europa, kunnen jullie hem hier ook ontmoeten en bezoeken. Maar ook namens Hugo, bedankt voor het kijken en bedankt voor het erbij zijn. Wij hebben in ieder geval een geweldige middag gehad en we hopen dat jullie dat ook hebben gehad. Hartstikke bedankt. Ook bedankt aan de crew, het team dat alles mogelijk heeft gemaakt. Zonder jullie hulp hadden we het niet kunnen doen. Even officieel de firmanaam. PJP, Beeld en Studio, hier uit Limburg. En hartstikke bedankt jullie voor het mogelijk maken van dit geweldige event. Zonder jullie hadden we het niet kunnen doen. Dus jullie ook hartstikke bedankt. Bedankt aan de vrijwilligers nogmaals. Bedankt aan iedereen die heeft meegeholpen tot het maken van een mooi event. Tot de volgende keer. Groetjes. Hoi.